Just give me 1 second.
I think white one with the black trim along the river.
I don't know what the outside looks like. I just saw the inside. There's no insulation or anything. It's just all natural.
Oh, that's not that.
I looked it up on Google.
Somebody must have bumped your.
Carla is our new IT person.
Your thing was not aiming at you properly.
So this is older.
What's that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe there's somebody out there,
on the video.
maybe there's somebody out there just wanted to spare the public seeing me.
We'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll consider for approval the minutes and agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the minutes and agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. 9 a.m. Paul Bartel to discuss with possible action support for a grant for the Winnebago River Watershed Coalition. Hey, Paul.
Thank you, and thank you for taking time to hear me. Yeah, I'm a member of the Winnebago River Watershed Coalition. Susan was at our first meeting as well. And the goal of our group is to improve the water quality and flood mitigation of the Winnebago River watershed. Now, that's going to take a little bit of funds, and I'm not here to ask you to fund the whole thing. We'll be applying for a much larger grant from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. And here, let me present you here with a letter. We're approaching all of the different governmental agencies, municipalities of the watershed. On the back of your letter, you'll see a map of the watershed and the different governmental agencies involved in that. We're applying for a grant from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources called the Iowa DNR Comprehensive Water Quality Management Planning Grant. It's a large grant. It'll be about $125,000 if we're successful. We have to apply for it. And sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Stayed them too long, I guess. One got stuck. And we need to provide, we need to show support, and we need to provide some matching amount to it. And the amount that we'll need to provide in match is shown there in bold as $6,250. And so what we're doing here is approaching these different governmental agencies and requesting if they are asking if they can provide some support to help attain this match amount.
How did you base the dollar amount for the asks throughout the different counties?
Yes, well, let me put my glasses on here. There are set amounts. The total grant is $125,000. There is a cash match of 5% of that. Now, the 5% of $125,000 is about $8,000, so it might be a little bit lower this year. The last time it was given as about $125,000. It might have dropped a little bit, but there's a cash match of 5% for this that we have to come with. There's an in-kind match of $25,000, 25%, which is then added to the cash match. So that the in-kind will not be hard to come up with, time and equipment, whatnot. But it's this cash match that we need that we need to find to apply for that. We're applying for it in November. The last part of November is when the application is due. And we'll have a professional grant writer write this grant to the Iowa DNR. And we're just hoping for some support. Now, there are two levels. This is not a required amount. And I have but one copy of each of these. One specifies an amount. Did I get the right one there? Yeah. And the other is simply saying, hey, we support and we're behind you. The stronger we can make our application, the greater chance we have of getting the grant as a whole.
Is that competitive scoring?
Question? Susan?
So, yeah, is it based on population within the watershed area or acres, or how is the numbers come up?
That could be. I'm not sure of all the details, but Polk County has received one. I suspect theirs is a little bit larger than ours. I'm not sure. I haven't received all those details, but what we'll need to come up with is that 6,250.
Okay, so a couple questions. Who would this grant benefit? Is it for the whole watershed? Okay.
Yes.
And this $6,250 is going to be portioned out among the whole watershed, or?
Well, it'll be added to the amount we receive. In other words, we'll get this amount of grant. We have to come up with this smaller amount, which will add to it, which will then benefit the whole watershed. The coalition is made up of elected officials from all these different governmental levels, the municipalities and the counties. I represent the Soil and Water District for Winnebago County. There are others there. I think one of the city council members is on it. And we have that same for different counties from around that entire watershed. So it will apply to the entire watershed. So everyone in that watershed will benefit from this.
Well, that's where I'm still confused. You have a $125,000 grant for this area,
Mm-hmm.
and you're asking Winnebago County for the $6,250, or you're asking a
No,
portion of that?
no,
Okay.
we're asking for a portion of, there's different ways, different county, like some groups, municipalities and counties, they've said, okay, we'll give $1 per resident of our district, of our what's the word I'm looking for?
City or
Yeah,
township.
yeah, right, of who we represent. Others say, we'll give 50 cents. There's no hard, fast formula, but these are different ways that different groups have approached this. There's no set guidelines. There's nothing saying that you shall give this amount. We're requesting, we want to show as strong support as possible. A
So
letter.
I think what we're trying to figure out is what is the ask of Mason City?
I don't know.
Of Cerro Gordo.
I don't know.
They have a lot more people affected by it.
Sure. So they'll.
Yes.
You would think that their share would be more.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be.
And their share of the funds will probably end up being more also.
Oh, I don't know about that, because the funds goes to the entire watershed. The entire watershed. I mean, if you look at the map here, the majority of this watershed, I shouldn't say the majority, Winnebago County has one of the larger shares of the entire watershed. So if you look at the size of the watershed, Winnebago County stands to gain the greatest benefit.
So it's not just by population, it's by that area, the size, the amount,
Acres.
acres.
About half of our county is in it.
Maybe a little more than that, huh?
I'd say it's a little less than
Give or take a half.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But it's larger than the proportion for Worth County
Well, definitely Worth, yeah.
or Cerro Gordo.
Hancock's got quite a bit, or a little bit there, and Cerro Gordo has quite a bit.
Has there been any issues with it being, this watershed being in both Minnesota and Iowa?
Well, we're contacting Minnesota. We'll be working with them for that little portion that's up in that watershed there. They've already taken some action for their portion of the watershed. They're already underway with that. And so we're collaborating with them so we can act in a coordinated way.
And what's the timeline of commitment of funds, like, because we don't have anything in our budget this year.
Sure. Well, we need to generate support by the time we submit our application for the comprehensive plan by end of next month.
Okay.
I don't know if it's November 30th. I forget what the exact deadline is, but it's towards the end of next month.
Judging by how DNR grants work, it's not going to be available till next summer at least.
We won't get the whole grant by then. No. But our application for it.
Right. Goes in for school.
Right. So it's up to the board here. Again, I gave you 2 form letters, 2 templates, I should say, that you can decide which way you want to go. It would really help if we could show some kind of financial support, but any kind of support will help build our argument to receive that grant.
Well, I'd like to kind of mull this over and figure out if we're going to put money forward, where's it going to come from in the next budget?
Well, and what's it gonna be based on? Is it
Right.
gonna be based,
Is it arbitrary money that or is it an arbitrary number that we feel would be fair to start with and see how the whole givings come out? Because we won't know till the end before your
Sure.
application if you had enough to cover.
Sure.
have you had letters of, support already from other municipalities and
We
counties?
have,
Can you
and there
share what they've been doing?
has been some monetary support pledged. I don't know. Our last meeting was first part of last month, and I've not received any updates since then. Except I've heard that there have been pledges. I think Mason City has, Cerro Gordo County has, I believe, but I cannot give you, sorry, my apologies. I don't.
So what I would like to push for is, I would like to commit support, on at least minimum support, but I'd also like to investigate more, maybe table it for now, and then look into it a little more and think about it and figure out what we could offer.
And I can contact people in Cerro Gordo County and Mason City and just see what is happening there.
And then-
My apologies for not having that now.
No, that's okay.
I was gone for 10 days and got home just this last weekend, and
We
I
had to start
kind
a
of got,
conversation somewhere.
yeah.
Cause we can put you back on the agenda in another date too, when
Yeah.
we'll maybe have more questions too.
That'd be fine.
Maybe in a couple of weeks, we can readdress it.
That'd be fine. Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
the information, thank you. Should we keep these just for?
Yes, by all means.
Keep them with Carla.
With Carla and the information on this?
By all
Will
means.
do.
Okay, thank you again.
Start the file. All right, 9:10 or a little after, Steve Bakke to discuss with possible action, transfer of tax certificate to City of Forest City. Morning. Morning.
Is this the one? Oh, look here, first.
Yeah.
That's what you want?
Yeah, and I don't need the first 2 pages.
Oh, I lost it.
I saw that. I'm going, that was.
Careful, he's got a stick in his hand.
This is my deluxe custom pointer.
Well, where'd it go?
Could you get one
You-
of those
you
for
turned it
us
off.
for the boardroom someday? That would be
You
nice.
have it on a file there?
Well, I discovered yesterday afternoon
Well,
that laser doesn't
Your
work on
PowerPoint.
TV screens.
And,
Oh, wait a minute.
reopen.
it's not a TV screen.
Do you have a laser? That's all right, this'll work.
It brings flashbacks.
we can use her mouse cursor.
Yeah,
My 6th grade teacher beat me with walking sticks.
one, another one, another one. Yeah, this is it. So thanks for having me. Again, I'm Steve Bakke, I'm the city attorney for the city of Forest City. And this project has been about 10 or 15 years in the making. I don't remember how we discovered it, but the piece of property we're talking about is that one right there. Here's the aquatic center, and you can see it's surrounded on 3 sides by the city of Forest City property and that sort of thing. And then this is the old Paul Severson property, and it's currently owned by a couple and that sort of thing. And when I looked at it 10 or 15 years ago, there was no big deal about it and that sort of thing. And it just, I think I had conversations.
It's my fault, it's drainage,
It-
so it came back as unknown.
Yeah. And in my opinion, of course, it may not be shared by the board, but with the city on 3 sides of it and that sort of thing, we seem to be the logical place for that property. But I couldn't figure out a way to do it legally, because in order to do an adverse possession, you've got to start out with a fundamental principle of law, which is color of title. The city of Forest City has absolutely no color of title to that. And it kind of went dormant. And then Chris called me and said, we have 3 other properties in the county. And, and so I came over and talked it over with her, and it was about that time I dug back into it. And can we move to the next slide? I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, this is a warranty deed to the LaCour brothers in 1906. And in red, it highlights it, and it includes that little piece that I showed you before. Okay. And next slide, please. Then in 1908, Bert and Elmer gave it to Ola Hansen, and that piece is missing. So the last people that owned that property are the LaCour brothers back in 1906. Next slide. And then in 1978, there was a drainage easement given by the Seversons, who owned this piece of property here, and it is on 2 rods east of the right-of-way. So that boundary is about right there, 2 rods east of the right-of-way. Only problem is that the engineers at that time, back in 1967, thought that it went all the way over here. And I believe that line runs on the east side of this property. So now the city of Forest City is faced with the issue of the easement that they have in an unknown ownership or known ownership of two brothers from 1906. Next slide, please.
Well, I thought it was transmitted over to Ola Hansen.
No, they accepted that piece out when they transferred it to Ola Hansen. When they got it in
The
1906.
rest of it went to Ola Hansen.
The rest of it went to Ola Hansen. Here is where I think that sewer line is, and you can see, that it's in the LaCour Brothers property. And next slide. And this is just a picture of what it looks like today, and that's in the process of looking at it one more time, I discovered that there was a tax deed on it. And that would give the city of Fort City the color of title that we need. An added benefit to the tax deed is you have to wait 10 years for adverse possession, but under Iowa law, I believe it's only 5 years, and the tax deed, the statute of limitations run on setting aside the tax deed. So I checked with Julie, and the certificate that the county has $157, and the city is willing to have it surveyed, all the costs associated with the notices and that sort of thing for the tax deed and all that sort of thing. Julie, you were gonna look up and see if there were any additional taxes since the 157?
Yes, the total today is $162.20.
Including the 157, or?
No, total.
Total. Another $10? I think the city can afford it, so we would give you the check. As a part of what I sent to Carla, there is a resolution. However, there is a slight change in that resolution. And that is, do we have that resolution?
Right here.
Oh, okay. If you take a look at it, the first whereas, I added, I'm trying to add, Jim Witt surveyed the railroad right-of-way back in 2006. And that plat is dated May 18th, 2006 as instrument 06-850. And I wanted to be able to tie a description, and I think Julie and Carla and Chris will bear this out. The description in the tax certificate is basically a parcel of land in this 40-acre. It isn't much, vague doesn't really cover the waterfront there. And so what I wanted to do here is I called up Ken Stark, who we've been retained to do the survey if this goes through, and talked to him about it. And so this is, I added the language to the resolution that's in that first whereas, is the 33 feet immediately adjacent to and east of the real estate described in plat and survey dated May 18th, 2006 as instrument number. And so now, once we get through the tax deed and all that sort of thing, process, which is gonna take at least 120 days because there's a 120-day waiting period, then at that point, I'm gonna have an affidavit signed by Mr. Stark that indicates that this description we use in the resolution is the same as his plat and that sort of thing. So I guess if either the Board of Supervisors or any of the county official or public here has any questions, I'll endeavor to answer.
So that's the one that you already have made the changes on, this one doesn't have it.
Yeah, that's the one. It's exactly the same as this one. except for that language there in the first whereas. And I don't know that I didn't know that Terry was the chairman, and so I may have to make some,
It's got a spot, it has a spot for signature.
okay. Why, yeah, it has a spot, but it's blank as far as the name is concerned. Yeah, so,
So, Chris, you alerted him to this
Yeah,
because
he
there
already
was,
started years ago on it, and then
Right.
he said it went dormant, and then there was a drainage bill on this unknown parcel.
so what is the drainage bill?
Oh, it's like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nothing.
I don't know, you maybe should check with Forest City and see if that's okay too.
I'll
Or
take
was
it out
that
of my
included
pocket.
on the
Or,
162?
yeah, was that included in the one?
That was in the
Oh, so
162.
there you go.
I do wanna say thank you to Steve for doing this. This has been a long process for just this little piece of property.
And there were 2 other properties over west that were,
There's one in Lake Mills and there's one in Thompson.
okay.
And then, there was also one that we discovered is that Pioneer Cemetery or whatever.
That one got figured out.
Yeah. and
Yep,
So that one
so
got
there were
figured-
4, and now after this, there will be 2.
One of them was, on rented property from the railroad or something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Not,
The one in
Not the
Lake
2 I
Mills is
have.
near the railroad. It's by Raymond's there.
And it's only about like,
it's smaller than my finger. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a sliver.
yeah,
And so is the one in Lake Mills. It's just a sliver.
The
yeah,
one in-
it isn't even, 4 inches or something like that.
No,
It's just,
it got missed somewhere, the footage.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I know where you're talking.
And Luann.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the transfer of this property is probably in the best interest of the county and the city.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
and again, we still have to give notice, and I'm making an assumption here that the LaCour brothers had passed away. But, and so we'll publish notice, and if there's anybody else who requires to get notice, we're gonna take care of all of that too.
So the city will incur all of those expenses
Yes,
in
and
the abstract or deed or whatever has to happen.
Yeah, well, the deed will be done by the county, and the filing fees for it will be done by the city. I think the city, by the time it's all over and done with, will have somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500 to $3,000. It's gonna be $1,200 for the survey, and, I had a couple of discussions with Sue McCullough, and we both kind of came around to the idea the best thing to do is to survey it. That way it's done. I doubt seriously I'm gonna ask for an abstract on this. I think that's,
I'm guessing you'll have some costs in the deforestation of the property too.
I think the fence line that's there, that's kind of buried right now, is gonna end up being the east boundary. I don't think we're gonna incur into that property.
is Kelsey aware that she has to do the deed? I mean, is she
I,
gonna draw that up?
when I emailed everybody, Chris, I included Julie, Carla, and Kelsey.
Oh, gotcha.
And I had a conversation with Kelsey and said if she had any questions about it, give me a call. And at that time, she had not examined it, but I haven't received a call from her either.
But I think you have to sign the certificate over to the city of Forest City, and then the treasurer usually does the deed. So the city will pay $10 for the assignment, $25 for the deed.
Yep.
Gotcha. And $162 for the,
We start with the resolution that authorizes,
well, that's.
I think it authorizes the chair of the Board of Supervisors to sign the assignment.
transfer of tax certificate.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and then at that point in time, you know, when it's all over and done with, I'm going to file an affidavit that covers a lot of this, because there is no way of, you know, I've got to be able to show the reason why I'm publishing notice. I want to be able to tie the description there in with the description that Stark has and all that sort of stuff. So I'm probably going to be filing an affidavit with several attachments to it before I file the tax deed, so that when that tax deed hits the public domain, that there's an explanation, because I don't think in 10, 15 years I'm still going to be city attorney. So I think we should probably have something to kind of tie things together.
Well, I think usually our process is whoever the supervisor in charge of that district would make the motion.
Wow.
What?
That's his district.
It is.
South of Sand either.
Well, I'll make the motion to transfer the tax certificate to the city of Forest City with the property described, I guess, here, resolution.
I'll second it. So I've got a motion from Janice Bolton, I got a second from Derby to transfer a tax certificate to the city of Forest City through resolution. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl.
Carla, just sign that too.
So Terry, then if you want to sign this certificate,
Attesting to it.
this will be
That's
to
your copy.
the
So
city of
if you
Forest City.
So I read that in
need
here.
a copy.
Okay. Yeah, would you please? Yep, thank you.
Today's date.
It's like 33 feet wide, but how long?
I think it's about 150 feet. It's not a buildable lot. You know, minimum requirements in the city of Forest City is 60 feet and 6,000 square feet. It may qualify into the 6,000 square feet. I've never, you know,
Sure.
added it and all that sort of stuff. And, I think what happened here is, at the time, thank you, at the time that the LaCour brothers originally got this property, the park didn't come all the way through, and 8th Street didn't go all the way down to
I was
the
wondering
park.
if it was a road even.
Yeah, 33
Yeah,
feet
33
usually
feet,
is
it
a
kind
driveway
Would
type.
make some sense that
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
access road
Yeah.
or something.
And then by the time they transferred it, it went to Ola Hansen, and the Hansen Dairy used to be down there. That used to be pasture for the cows. And they had access to it from B or 8th Street, and so they didn't need it, so they didn't include it, and the LaCour brothers never divested themselves of it. And if they did, it's in a deed that is in somebody's lockbox or family mementos
Yeah.
and has never been filed. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Okay, 9:30 or a little after, Sue McCullough with the deputy here, Jackie, will from the assessor's office discuss with possible action pictometry contract.
Sue's unable to be here because her dad is in the hospital. I believe she talked to you guys about this a couple weeks ago about do you have any questions, or do you want a little short recap of the changes?
So this is the resolution, the better resolution pictures.
Yes, so going from 6-inch to 3-inch. And we locked that in for our next upcoming flight. That's the change to the one contract, and then also locking it in for the next 2 flights. So 2028 and 2031 are locked in at that rate then also.
Does this have anything to do with, remember Carl, we talked about that other part of the, it doesn't have anything to do with that, that's just the beacon part of it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let me clarify that.
And then just to reiterate that the general fund is not being affected, the assessor and the engineer's office are picking up that additional cost to go to that. Any other questions?
Yeah. Any questions?
Will we be able to access it just as the same as? we've
You'll
been
see it on the
able to?
beacon site, so it'll update those aerial photos. We have logins for the pictometry portion. I believe that we could,
We have one.
We have,
okay, on the pictometry, so then you'll see that
so
too.
that will not, I mean, that won't, we'll get all that,
Yes,
okay.
It automatically updates when
Yep.
they're available.
and some, right now you can actually catch some 23 flight that must have been a carryover from our northern neighbors. So if you're in that north part, if you click down on the bottom where it says latest, instead of picking the actual year, it will bring up those 23
That's
images.
just in pictometry.
Just in pictometry. I don't know, I would think they maybe carry over, but I don't know on the beacon side how to determine without clicking that button on which flight you want picked on the legend
I
there.
think on my phone it does, but I
Yeah.
might not on my computer.
Yeah, I was looking at it yesterday and I was like, well, I wonder where it says that, but
Well, is that okay with everyone then?
I think it's good.
it helps us,
Useful.
you know, it's a little bit nowadays going out onto properties that are a little more rural. It's nice to have that clear imagery so we maybe don't have to, for safety reasons, go up into those areas sometimes.
Well, and it kind of caused a little bit of a stir.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, we still need to go and view property,
Right,
but.
right. But I mean, there were some phone calls.
Yeah. So hopefully we've headed that off too. We've made some announcements on the website as far as we're gonna be out, look for us. We've got some stickers on the truck
Yeah, the stickers on the truck.
and I usually call law enforcement and the city clerks before we're out, so they kinda know what areas we're into, so.
I'll make the motion to accept the pictometry contract.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to accept the pictometry contract as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I think she's got these tagged right where you need to sign. And then once we get pictometry to sign, we'll get a copy to, just goes to Carla, correct?
So you said this is good for the next flight, but also 28
We're locked in at that rate for 28 and 2031.
and 31.
Now, those can be changed if we get a better deal, but.
Oh, you can make them go down, but they won't go up.
Right. So we thought probably not a terrible idea.
Useful tool.
And I believe the reason that we've got the 3 different signatures now, where I don't think that was in the past, is each portion is gonna get their own billing. So the assessor will get their billing separate from them, the engineer will get theirs separate, and then the county portion will get their separate bill too. Makes tracking a little bit easier, I think.
What are the percentages?
I don't know if it's a percentage,
What's it based
It
on?
was a number that was determined.
Just a number?
yeah.
Okay.
Probably more based on benefit.
That's where we were before. And here's where now with the new, the general didn't change. We went up a little bit and then Scott picked up a little bit more too. Want a copy of that or anything?
I don't think we need it, do you?
Sue's got it in her stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got another 5 minutes until our next one. So we'll go on drainage matters. They're so excited.
I know. I don't have anything.
Do you guys have anything for drainage?
All right. Did you have any question on claims?
Nope, I didn't this time.
Perfect.
I try to, but I just think.
I know, we're always wanting to come up with a big question.
Nice and easy. Yes. All right, thanks.
Right, thank you.
Bye.
I think I'll wait. Scott. That one, Mr. Scott's.
I don't know if you move up agendas, but we are here for the 9:45.
Yeah, if it's timed, we can't start till
Perfect.
9:45.
Absolutely.
So we'll fill something else in.
Yes.
Approved liquor license for Rice Lake Isaac Walton. Or less.
Or less. I'll make the motion to approve the liquor license for Bryce Lake, Isaac Walton.
I've lost that.
I
Where's
can
that
second that.
at? Oh, that's on the back.
Okay. I've got a motion from Smith and a second from Derby to approve the liquor license for Rice Lake Isaac Walton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval liquor license for Whiskey and Lace LLC.
You're not gonna do that one. It's the city of Lake Mills.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say, we investigated and the address is in Lake Mills proper, so we have deferred to Lake Mills on that one. All right, we'll do an open forum. Anything for open forum?
Chris must have forgot to print the minutes, so I'll have to ask her for that.
Okay. All
I have
right,
some claims.
good. Did anybody have questions on the claims? You already asked once, but maybe something else.
I looked at them, no questions from me.
I'll entertain a motion for such.
I'll make a motion to approve the county claims.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the county claims. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Well, I think we're kinda done with our filler stuff for now.
Voting has been very, 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 very busy.
You saying I'm the only one that's gonna be voting on the day of election?
Oh, I think there still will be.
Oh,
And me, I'll be there.
I'm gonna be there several times.
What?
You can be there several times, but you're only gonna vote once.
Vote early and vote often, isn't that the usually?
So,
That's in Chicago.
Also in Chicago. They bring out the dead there though.
Every little bit helps.
so let me just give you a little
Tutorial.
lesson today.
I already got the
30
lesson,
seconds
so
or
this will be
less.
my second time through.
So,
Gee, look at the time.
sit.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what my granddaughter told me this weekend. Sit. So I've had, Susan brought up today that people were saying that you should come and vote early because it's gonna change the election. Well, in Iowa, we have what's called absentee voting. And other states have what they call early voting. So the difference is, when you have early voting in other states, when they vote, they feed it through the equipment right away. They start tallying their votes right away, so they can start getting results right away. In Iowa, we have what's called absentee voting. So when people vote, they put their ballot into a secrecy sleeve and put it into a return envelope. We put that envelope into our drawer, and it is not into a locked drawer, and it is not voted, counted until election day. So nobody knows the results in Iowa until election day. And that is the difference between absentee voting and early voting.
And there's a committee that actually feeds those into the
Yes,
scanner
yep,
So
on election day.
on election day.
there's a lot of rhetoric, or whatever you wanna call it, in, not completely true.
Well, there may be some truth to that because people actually took the time to go out and vote early rather than blowing it off later.
Possibly, but what my question to Carla this morning was, are those votes counted and like polled, and the information goes out at, no?
No,
So those early voters in other states,
early voters in other states, they can be counted ahead of time.
Right.
It's all depends on
Right, I
the
know.
process of the
but
other
that's what
states.
I'm asking, so there are people that think that that can change the way other people vote once they hear what early voting has been. So that's where the conversation started, but we don't have that in Iowa.
We do not have that in Iowa.
Well, in the effort of keeping on track, we're a
Cannot
little late
report
for our
those figures
9:45.
until the election day. That would be election interference on the part of the press.
So,
We cannot reflect those numbers. So Carla could tell me that Kennedy was winning by a landslide, and I have to go,
But Carla doesn't know.
No,
well,
but
if you
someone,
were in
a
another state
Carla
like
in another
Arizona or
state.
someplace like
Right.
that, yeah.
point has been made.
Yeah.
It is past 9:45. I would like to move forward with our agenda. City of Fort City Christmas Committee to discuss Christmas lighting changes.
Are y'all standing? So I printed these real quick this morning, just so I can get a little bit more explanation of what we're going to plan on. So we have a committee that we formed, thanks to Juliana, at the chamber. Misty and Daisy, both from the city, and then Beth and myself are really excited to refresh and kind of revamp our Fort City Christmas. We've been told that the tree that normally has the lights on it here at the courthouse yard should not have lights hanging, or not any more lights hanging from it. So what the committee had kind of went forward with is all these plans for decorations for the town. I don't think I need to go, do you want me to go through them? Are you wanting me to read through them? So
Probably
some-
go more through what's going to affect us.
Yeah, so first of all, so all of the things in the decoration plan here, what's gonna happen is we're gonna light the gazebo up, and we're gonna have a Christmas tree in the gazebo. We're gonna have signed out front. We're gonna have the 5 trees in your yard here, right by the gazebo, 2 over to the side, 1 behind, and the 3 over to this side, wrapped with Christmas lights. And the city had said they will handle all electricity, so you don't have to have any of that.
They're more of a trunk wrapping than.
Yeah, it's just like you clip them around the trunks, and they go about 8 feet up and that. And there's all kinds of other exciting things in there that some new candy cane wrap things that are vinyl we're going to put around the columns on each of the, and just do, instead of a tree lighting, we're calling it Let's Light Up Candy Cane Court. So the things so the city has said they were going to handle the electricity for both what's going on in the gazebo and in the yard. The fun thing is that right out front, so they're buying new banners, have already bought new banners for the light poles all around town, 46 of them, as well as the garland and lights that we light the poles with, so that's very exciting. And the ones here on J Street on the courthouse side will all have one. The other poles in town are like the every other, sometimes every third one, so that's kind of exciting news. We're also working, Misty is working, Daisy are working with the city to see about possibly by the way, if you didn't notice up top, that's supposed to say November is our decoration, and that's when the city crew, Dwayne and Chad Bean, have working with us. That's when they do their decorations of the city, so we planned on doing the same. The tree lighting is gonna be December 2nd, which is a Monday. Yes, city council night, but we're gonna do it from 5 to 6 as planned right now. There's a lot of activities, as I listed, too, that we'd like to do if the city allows us to shut down Jay for a, an hour, hour and a half type thing. Pop, or hot chocolate, everything like that, kind of make it a big deal. In years past, unfortunately, it hasn't really been a big deal for a while, even though you guys really kind of go all out, but it's kind of, it just needs, a new plan. So what we need on the back is what we're requesting from the supervisors is, we had talked to Kevin, and he said that he removes the snow from the diagonal street, or sidewalk, but not to the gazebo or in the gazebo. So one of the major things that we were gonna request is if we could see about snow removal just on the sidewalk to the gazebo and possibly in if it gets much inside. Some of the things we were looking for the entire time we've been planning is that if people wanna take pictures, family pictures, we're gonna have Mr. and Mrs. Claus there, that kind of thing. So obviously safety would need to be looked at first. We don't want to invite people to your gazebo if it's gonna be unsafe. Also at night, when a few of us have driven by, we didn't notice the gazebo lights underneath turned on. So I don't know if they're just turned off, if light bulbs are burnt out, just something we've kind of noticed. So those are the two things that we're kind of requesting from the county supervisors is could we get ice and snow removal just, as far as we're concerned, just from the day before we're gonna decorate until the day after we take it down. And then also to make sure the lights inside work, or if we need to add some sort of lighting ourselves inside under the gazebo. So
Have the lights been, are they on a timer or?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Kevin.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions on this? I like the idea of the wraps on the lower part of the trees, not any stress on the branches.
A few things I probably should point out also. So one of the things that Dwayne and Chad had suggested, instead of, I think typically it's a staple with lights or banners, they said they were willing to research and find maybe more permanent hooks that are constantly used instead of things coming in and out of the wood. They'll just be there for, whether it be your 4th of July or our other holidays and events or something like that. But that I think obviously we
They can work with Kevin on that.
Yep, absolutely, bring to your attention before those are ever used. They're also going to design sort of like an over-the-door wreath hook for the garland and lights that'll go around the outside of it, just so that that's nothing permanently in the structure, but yet it'll be weather safe, kid safe, something that will work better and not have to be stapled or something to your gazebo.
When this was first brought up, we walked this space out there. I think it would be a great place for a celebration. We did have some concerns about the sidewalks out there.
Kevin's already taken care of that.
Has he got that all done?
Yep.
Oh, good. Good.
Ground off the edge as well.
Yeah, I can see it from here. It's all freshly grown.
So it's mostly snow removal is what you're asking.
So once he ground off those edges, it's easier for him to get the equipment in.
That was the concern, because we had a few high spots and lips
Sure, that makes it tough.
that he couldn't actually, it would have had to be done by hand. So we're okay that way? Okay.
All right, well, for us, this is not an actionable item today, but I'm thinking, don't we usually approve the use of the courthouse grounds for that event?
Yeah.
So we could probably,
Let's see.
I do have one other quick question, actually. So the nativity scene that goes up,
separate.
is there a permanent spot that they usually put, or is there, do you know,
I think
by
it's
contact?
It's not really the way Daisy
Demarcus.
asked me to put it on there, so
Demarcus is the one
I
kind
don't
of in
know when we
charge.
can back to.
Okay.
He'll be
Certainly
Adamico.
Domicos,
Probably
okay,
like
Doug,
so.
yep.
Get that permit.
But if they,
On December
if
2nd.
they
Yeah,
could
okay.
fit
Yeah.
their display
On December 2nd.
in with yours better,
Absolutely.
I think it would be nice.
I just didn't want to step on their toes
It's
knowing
worth the
everything.
conversation with them.
Yeah, have a
Absolutely, yep.
conversation.
Yep.
Basically says Four City Christmas instead
On
of
that,
Xmas,
yeah.
I can support.
Oh, there you go.
Say it again?
Being it says Four City Christmas instead of Xmas.
Oh,
I
yes,
can-
yeah. And we went with season greetings as we knew we needed to, so.
Well, I don't see any problems with it myself. I think it's kind of exciting to come up with something new.
I'm looking forward to it.
Always
Look
looks nice.
pretty.
So is this kind of a, is this coordinated with Hallmark or?
We're making a
I see
movie.
there's hot
Right.
cocoa. and
You wanna apply for the movie? for
Check
trial?
mark, check mark, check mark. Okay.
I'm sure they're gonna want us to sing it.
That came next, actually. Julie, do you wanna talk about them, about singing?
Yeah,
We picked
three
out a song
songs,
already.
three songs.
Yes, we picked out a song.
I'm a great lip syncer.
Oh, good. That could be fun.
All right, well, we look forward to
Nice
it.
job.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right.
One more minute.
I'll send that to you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me know if you need anything.
All right, thanks.
That one's done. Want to start stamping we have payroll yet?
The Y too.
Yeah.
Two.
Okay,
Let's-
that's the man we need to ask.
I have 1 minute.
Sure, we got time.
I have updated information for you.
All right.
When I couldn't answer how much others have committed, I did some calling around, and Mason City and Saragoro County each have committed $2,500.
Okay, good.
So we still need an additional $1,250.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Betcha. Thank you again.
So we got Worth, Hancock, and
And
cities.
quite a few
The cities.
municipalities.
I was hoping.
Yeah. We're waiting for the 10 o'clock.
Will that suffice for you?
The pay,
Do you want to give that to Bill?
Okay.
Okay.
Keaton Carpenter, one of the Four City guys, kind of put him on our part-time roster. He worked a shift the other night for us.
that would be received, I assume. And then, pay increase and vacation, are those also received or is that approved?
What department?
Second, Rachel Kurtzley, you said.
That's approved.
Public health to be received.
Yep.
Yeah. Last time I was down, you mentioned that when we were down there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
She did. Wow. Proud grandma.
Mama.
Got married. I'm just kidding. Our son's out in California. It was his birthday yesterday, so. That's before.
Gets like that recognition all over the place.
Keep her on her toes.
All right, it is 10 a.m. Brian Plath, Deputy Sheriff, and Steve Epperly, Sheriff, to discuss K-9 Amazon's retirement with possible sale to Plath. Morning.
Morning. Well, guys, on that note, I'll just read the letter that I'm presenting to you here. It says, Winnebago County Board of Supervisors, this letter is to inform you that K-9 Amazon retired on September 1st, 2024. K-9 Amazon has been a member of the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office for 6 years. The retirement is due to age and health-related issues. Amazon was acquired through the fundraising efforts of Deputy Brian Plath, her handler. At this time, I request that ownership of Amazon be granted to Deputy Plath. Deputy Plath would then be fully responsible for her care and all financial expenses effective upon Amazon's retirement. In short, this would be the same thing that we did with Brett Wilson and Yira. You know,
Anybody have any questions on this?
How old is Amazon?
11.
What kind of health issues?
She has cancer. I've already had a bunch of spots cut out. And it's in her lungs, so they're giving her about 6 months.
I'll make the motion to have a sale to Mr. Plath on the event of Amazon's retirement.
So the sale is what, $1?
$1.
Just to make it official.
do you have a doubt?
Does that have to be in, my question is, does that have to be in a check?
I think we keep cash.
You do?
It'll be fine.
I'll remember that.
We just took a whole bunch of cash for the auction, so.
Okay.
He said, that's what he said. He said he was gonna bring pennies.
There you go.
Did we have a second?
Not yet.
Oh, I'll second it.
All right, now we can discuss it.
Okay.
We're not supposed to discuss it until after the second.
Gotcha.
That was my bad. I wanted to know how old she was.
Any further discussion, any other questions? I appreciate your wanting to take care of Amazon in the last months, I guess it'd be.
Yeah. She's my baby.
Yeah, it's,
She's kind of the favorite, I think.
She is.
Well, with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
dog is always happy to see you. You can't say that about humans.
Very true. Yeah. Well, thanks again.
Do I get that,
You know what?
Yeah.
We'll all find some dollars that we can.
Say, I'll do it.
I got $1. Who do I give it to?
Don't worry about it. We'll
We'll get all
we'll figure it out.
get it all signed, sealed, and delivered here.
You got the retirement party.
It's just purely for the.
True.
Yep.
Have a value on it.
We're glad that you
And
have
we
it.
will have a retirement reception for her.
Okay, good.
Just, everything has just been a whirlwind, so.
We'll all put $1 in the K-9 fund for her.
There you go. Buy her a puppy treat with the rest.
It's all yours.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
need a copy of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Just, you wanna make a copy?
Yes.
Or take it into Chris and
Okay, thank you.
put a copy on my desk.
It's fine.
What's that?
There's nothing worse than, well, I mean, there could be a child or something like that. If your dog is, health is at the end, it's just
Yeah.
make the decision to put down, you know, it's just.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, and you know, those dogs work so hard, and then
for it to get cancer like that at the end and not be able to enjoy a little bit of retirement. Just sad.
Well, I got to go to the Iowa State game the other day.
Did you?
That was an emotional.
I was gonna say, man, that was
Yeah,
an
there was
exciting
a-
one too.
My son was at the game too.
That was, I kind of lost faith by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it wasn't, looking real promising, and the only thing is, the really good teams have that character that you hang in. Evidently, they just prove they have some character.
Yes, they do.
Thank you, guys.
All right, cool.
Oh, by the way, I did realize after you mentioned something the other day, I looked in my sent boxes and it wasn't in there. It was still in my drafts. So I must have been in a place when I sent
Okay.
it with my phone that it didn't have service or something.
Yeah,
So I sent him another one and
Okay.
let you know what must have come up.
yeah. We went to kind of like a new email server thing, and it's glitchy right now. It's not,
In my house, I used to have a full signal all the time. Sometimes when I'm in my basement, I have no signal at all.
mm-hmm.
Trying to figure it out now, did they turn the power down on their towers, or, and I get up and rake, and all I get is the old 0 with slash.
I kinda got some few things if you don't
I'll give
mind.
you the chair, absolutely. It's all yours, warmed up and everything.
Morning, Scott.
Good morning.
County engineer will discuss secondary road matters.
Okay, on our building project, the guys are starting to spread topsoil, and the site's pretty well in the shape that it will be. So that's going good. The only remaining step, I guess, before or soon after footings would be getting the rock placed in the yard. Planning to use crushed concrete, and we have Sadler hired to crush concrete out of Winnebago, a couple different sizes, but their machine broke down. They've been waiting on parts for like a month, so that's one thing we're waiting on, I guess. They're supposed to crush some 3-inch for us so we can kind of beef up the yard before we put the surfacing on it.
Any idea what concrete people are gonna be there?
I don't have a date yet. I have a submittal for the building design and the footings, and we've gone back and forth a little bit on that. I think once I get the next response, we'll be able to make a decision on that, and then at least we'll have a design approved. Then they'll have to update the pricing. We'll have a change order for this. So for the bid, we had kind of a stock design for the footings, which was basically 8-inch wide footing walls. And in the plans, we required that the building be pre-engineered and the footings be designed by a professional engineer who's, versed in that work. So they came back as 12-foot wide footing walls for the building.
12-inch.
12-inch wide. 12-inch wide footing walls.
Yeah, good.
So we'll have a change order for the difference, but we need to finalize the design before we can finalize the price. This will probably be a notable size change order, 8 to 12 inches for the entire perimeter of the building. And it'll go from 1 screen of rebar to 2. So, I maybe could have done a little more research on footing designs or had an engineer look at that ahead of time, and I'll call that oversight.
But they already done 8-inch wide.
No, they're not dug yet. They haven't showed up to begin. It's just, this is
So
part
is
of the process. It's just, I was
The depth
disappointed
is
that
the same though, it's just the
depth's the
width.
same, just the width.
Will you be putting styrofoam on the inside of the footings vertically?
Be on the inside of the front, outside of the other three walls.
Okay.
Because we got a 1 foot stub wall above the slab. So the only way to insulate that would be on the outside. So it'll be like our Buffalo shop is, but basically they slap 2-inch styrofoam on the outside of the footing, and we kind of just do dirt work up to there, and the top of it gets a little ratty, but for the most part, it does a good job keeping the walls from getting sweaty and that kind of thing.
How many overhead doors?
We have 7 large ones on the south. They're all 16 by 15 doors. And then we have one facing east that is shorter, 16 foot wide, but only, I think, 9 foot tall. And that's just because we have so many pickups in this location, we needed an extra door to be able to get them all in without having to back them all out in order to get the last one.
Are there concrete approaches to those overhead doors?
Yep, 30-foot approaches.
30?
So a lot of moving parts right now, but things are going fine. The bridge project that Ragnus Brothers is doing in section 16 in Norway is underway. Our guys pulled the deck off to save the lumber last week, and now Ragnus Brothers crew is there, and they have dikes built. They got probably into the bottom a little bit to see what they're needing to firm up the bottom, and getting some base set today probably, possibly set box culvert pieces as early as tomorrow, something like that. So that project's going good. We have started gravel crushing as of yesterday out at Sunnyside. If ever you could think this is a simple process, you gotta call me and we'll go out there and take a look at it. Looking for gravel is such a interesting process. We have a couple of hills back there we're digging in, and so they show up yesterday to start digging, and the first 3 holes are pretty well just black dirt, which is on the edge of the hill, so it's not a big deal, but as we worked around, we kind of found where it was better, and we're kind of working out from there, and we just kind of keep checking in with them and kind of saying, this looks good, this is where we should stop, that kind of thing, and see how the site shapes up.
Is it affecting any of the concerns with any possible purchasers?
I don't think so.
I mean, you're just gonna.
Our potential buyer is aware that we're, proceeding with this work. And
Interested buyers are probably interested in recreation type.
But they're probably interested in some of the plant material that's out there, trees.
yeah, we're working in the cornfield right now. Well, we're working toward the yard, which will have some trees. Probably we can work around. So none of the trees will really get disturbed.
I would think that they would, that would be advantageous too.
Right, I think the main thing we'll have to do when we're done is just to make sure that all the slopes are shaped up and we don't have any drop-offs out there, obvious things. And we won't really know what we'll have to do until we figure out where the gravel starts and stops. And in my mind, and ideally, we just take the hill off and at the end it's level and spread a little dirt on it. It's farmable again, or feedable in some way.
The slopes will take care of themselves, you just gotta hope you're not standing there when it does.
That's about right. I mean, this where we're digging now has about 4 inches of sandy topsoil and about 15 foot of gravel, and 20 different layers ranging from sandbox sand to 1.5 inch cobble. So I don't know. Yesterday they probably did 1,000 or 2,000 tons that went up to Stacker. We are hauling in some material and blending it also. So it's,
So when you say 1,000 to 2,000, that's just of the product they dug up.
yeah, I'm guessing because I wasn't out there when they finished, but,
So.
and I didn't see their
So
scale.
then you added another limestone to it.
Right, the scales are before the limestone's added, yeah. So I think that's also going well, but will take a lot of oversight just to make sure things stay going well. And I'll also mention our new neighbor up in Lake Mills is Growthy Concrete Business.
I found that out, yeah. My concern was whether you were sharing the driveway, or if he was gonna have a separate driveway, and where it was gonna be, and
Yeah, well, we were initially planning to share a driveway, and that's the way it looks like it will be depending on the use. Because there's been some talk about public, storage and other uses that would create more traffic. We'll just have to see. Our driveway's really not, it's kind of on the south property line and even further. So if we want our own driveway, we'd probably take that one out and put 2 separate ones in, is what I would think. There's a right-of-way that goes through there, like a road at one point was thought to go through there.
yep, there was.
And that's where our driveway is. So
Oh,
kind of just see how it plays out, I guess.
yeah, I wondered. That was just my only concern. I called Ethan about it.
Yeah.
Anything else for roads? All right, we'll move on to number 9. Consider for approval pledge to support the Iowa 5-year Strategic Highway Safety Plan 2024 through 2028.
For simplicity, I'll read it. In this pledge, we formalize Winnebago County's support of the strategies outlined in Iowa's 5-year Strategic Highway Safety Plan and the overall vision of 0 fatalities on Iowa's public roadways. In addition, we reaffirm Winnebago County's goal of a dramatic decrease in roadway fatalities and serious injuries by the year 2030 and 2050, as detailed in the resolution adopted in 2022 by our board. For participation in the Iowa County Engineers Association Safe Streets for All SS4A grant application. Winnebago County is committed to implementing the safety strategies outlined in the Safety Action Plan, which will assist road users with staying safe while driving, walking, or riding in Winnebago County. Winnebago County is dedicated to measuring its progress toward these goals and providing quantitative metrics as we continue to take necessary steps to improve safety on the county's roadways in order to realize our eventual goal of 0 roadway fatalities and 0 injuries by 2050. Statewide, the County Engineers Association has employed a group to create these safety action plans for all counties. The safety action plans are required to apply for some grants, specifically Safe Streets for All, through the Biden's infrastructure law. So that's in progress. Counties are working in these groups, and very soon, I think the notice goes out November 1st. We'll be sending out an invitation to all the safety partners in the county, law enforcement, fire, schools, to attend a meeting to discuss some of this stuff. So today is just our pledge to support this process.
Any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the pledge to support.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget to support that Iowa 5-year Strategic Highway Safety Plan 24 to 28.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Jens Holt and a second from Smith to approve the pledge to support the Iowa 5-year Strategic Highway Safety Plan 2024 through 2028. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval easements for public highway from the Iowa DNR for 235th Avenue and Center Township, sections 1324.
So out at Rice Lake, we've talked about this a number of times, but the access road that leads from A34 up to the clubhouse has never had formal easements recorded. So we've approached all of the abutting landowners about dedicating those to the county. There are 3 partners here on this project, the Rice Lake Golf and Country Club, the DNR, and Isaac Walton. And here we have the first of them, surprisingly from the DNR, for 2 pieces kind of up by the park. This is for no cost, but 66-foot wide right-of-way, similar to what appears to be out there, according to the ditches and the profiles of the road and everything. And 66 feet is also what we have in most of the county for all the unpaved roads. Amounts to a half an acre. Any questions?
Have you or will you share those easements with the group that is concerned out there with a path? I mean, just to keep them informed, so they, you know, might be nice to just keep them informed on that.
Sure.
I think that was common.
I haven't heard from that group for a while, so I don't know where they're at, but
Yeah.
you've got their emails. You can
Yep.
just-
Is that your motion?
Nope. But I can make one.
All right.
I'll make the motion to approve the easements for public highway from the Iowa DNR for 235th Avenue and Center Township, section 13 and 24.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the easements for public highway from the Iowa DNR for 235th Avenue, Center Townships, sections 13 and 24. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Okay, 2 documents here, or 2 easements. I'll need your signature here and here. And I'll have Carla help with the notary part.
Have a good day. You too.
Make sure we get that right.
All right. Number 11, consider for approval setting a letting date, authorizing the county engineer to advertise for bids, and approving plans and specifications for the following 4 projects. LFM R20 North, 7X95, LFM R16 South, 7X95, LFM R50 and 830, LX95, and L Asmus 73-95, HIR only.
I'll first start by saying we've taken a little bit of a creative approach to bidding on these projects. Instead of lumping all the work for each site into a contract, we've lumped each type of work into a contract. So this contract will include the hot and place recycling parts of all of these jobs. So the first one has a hot and place recycling part, and it will also have a paving part. And that contract will be in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about notice for bidders for that. R16 South has just hot in place, R50, 830 just hot in place, and then of course the Asmus project, the majority of that will come in another contract that Snyder's working on that will include the grading and the paving, which will be paired with the R20 paving.
So let me understand, this is just a hot in place recycling?
That's right.
Okay.
For R20, we also including the milling work that'll be done there, since we expect a hot in place contractor to also have milling machines. What else can I tell you about this?
What's on the ASNIS one, what's the HIR?
Hot in place recycling.
Oh, yes, so that's for all of those, or that's just for the ASNIS one? I mean, it's
Just on
all,
that one.
Just on the ASMIS one.
Okay.
The HRR part only of the ASMIS
Because
part
of-
only.
all the, there's lots more parts to
When
that.
you
Yeah.
say, when you say the Osmos one, that includes the road they put in years ago, right?
That project will basically begin at 30th Avenue and go all the way to 40th and around the corner. The first half mile being just pavement work, so we're gonna recycle.
And that's where this comes in, is just
Right.
that first part.
So we're gonna recycle 2 inches and then put 3 inches on top, so that when we get done, we have kind of somewhat uniform.
How much is there right now?
That's 6 inches, but it's been recycled in kind of a funny way in the past. At one point in history, they milled it up, sprayed some oil on it, kind of bladed it back and forth and packed it back down. And then they paved over top of it. Just a little different than cold in place recycling, but kind of similar. I don't know what the technology was like then, but. So there's 6 inches of asphalt, the bottom's pretty brittle. So if we recycle 2 and add 3, that's 5 on top of, 4 inches of rubbleized, kind of, medium to poor quality asphalt. So I think it'd be pretty good. The cross section for the paving will only be 6 inches on top of a pretty stout base. So those will look pretty similar afterwards, and hopefully we can kind of treat it all the same going forward, and won't have, half-mile pieces that are all different from each other.
Yeah. Fewer seams.
Right.
Any other questions on that?
Nope, not for me.
Well, seems how,
I'm trying to figure out which is the majority, where it's at here.
probably the majority it is, isn't it?
Yeah, except for the
R50, 830.
30, 50.
Yep. Well,
Rest of it's all.
So that R50 is what then?
where is it, you're wondering?
Well, R50 is, it must be from Fringy all the way to the 5 mile curve then? Because we did fog seal on the lower part of R50 already.
That's right, yep. So from, the concrete intersection there, north of there, going north, and then also going east to the 5 mile curve.
Okay.
Yep.
So you wanna,
I'll make the motion to approve setting the letting date, authorizing the county engineer to advertise for bids, and approving
All three of
plans and specifications for the following 4 projects that are listed rather than.
and I'll second the motion. Got a motion from Jens Holt, a second from Gary to approve setting the letting date, authorizing the engineer to advertise for bids and approve plans and specifications for the 4 aforementioned.
Let's put Terry's name on the top since he's the chair, and then,
I'm gonna be on the bottom.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
I'm in the naughty chair.
so there's 3 plan sets there. The one for Osmus, I don't have a board block on here just because it's kind of informal.
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
So far, no surprises with cost, and our overall picture of the budget is looking to be really right in line,
Starting to
so
mesh, huh?
I.
Lots of
Yeah.
moving parts.
Call that some really good estimating, or lucky, one of the two. We don't have any bids in yet.
this last year was good for bids, wasn't it, for asphalt stuff?
Yeah, ever since a couple of years ago when we had that asphalt bid come in way high, we really haven't had anything too surprising.
All right, thank you.
Motion to approve the payroll claims.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Jensel and a second from Smith to approve the payroll claims. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We stand adjourned at 10:31. We're gonna have us. And we had to grab the gavel once.
I noticed she was inching towards the
Oh, I
gavel.
grabbed it.
Sorry.
It was my fault.